What do we have for Capricorn, please? Eight of Wands, Sag energy at the foundation of the reading, Cap. The download that I received before your reading was that your insecurity is limiting your success. Now, there's many different ways this can show up in your life, and I feel that this is something that everyone can relate to in some capacity here. You don't even have to be a Capricorn. I feel that you have reached a point on your path where you have done a significant amount of spiritual growth on yourself, but now you've reached this point in the journey where I feel you can't move forward any further until something else here is released. But it's not just a matter of quitting something or erasing a kind of mindset or stopping a kind of behavioral pattern or removing yourself from an environment. No, it's something that goes a bit deeper than that. It's spiritual. It's something that has been programmed into you, I feel, from childhood. Now, this is going to connect us to a kind of shadow work you need to do or inner child healing. It's something deeper there that is asking for your attention. Now, the Eight of Wands here in reverse is an energy of delays. It speaks about some sort of frustration or feeling like your efforts lately have been unsuccessful, which confirms exactly what I'm picking up inside your energy. But before we get any further into that, one of the other messages I was getting around your energy, and I feel all of this is going to connect by the end of the reading, is that there's people that were once in your life who feel that the old you is no more. It's like the old you is gone. And this all has to do with your growth. These are people who wanted to keep you small. They wanted to keep you limited because they got more from you when you were in that limited space. It was a space that they can control you in. So not only are you going through the spiritual evolution and you're being guided by Source and the divine to keep releasing, right? To keep letting go of this spiritual baggage and cutting these cords to these mindsets, these behavioral patterns, these environments, these people. But you are actually seeing this play out in real time in regards to how people are now receiving you. People don't like this new you because it threatens an idea of who they think they always were in your life. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have Ten of Swords, Gemini energy, an ending and a beginning. And, you know, one of the other messages I was getting was surrounding a sort of backstabber. Ten of Swords is the energy of a backstabber. So I feel that there's somebody that you might have been dealing with, quite possibly an ex or an old friend, it could even be a family member, that is now in some sort of regret. Because not only is your spiritual evolution exposing who they really are, I just got a vision of somebody looking in the mirror and not liking what they're seeing, right? And this is, again, not because they're actually sorry, but because they have been called out in some capacity by spirit. But this person here, these people, they feel some sort of loss when it comes to you because they can't be a part of this new beginning. So rather than trying to put forward the effort to do the right thing, they would rather just say, Cap doesn't exist anymore. They've become somebody else. So they're still continuing to minimize you in some capacity and categorize you in a space where if they can't understand it or if they can't control it, then there must be something wrong with it. What do we have at the sacral, please, Spirit? Three of Wands, Aries energy at the sacral. Now, the Three of Wands here is really speaking about this great expansion that you're going through, spiritually speaking. I feel that you're entering into a season where you're actually starting to see that things are actually possible. You can actually pull off these certain things because the universe is responding to you. The universe is giving you some sort of credit or confirmation for all the work you're doing. You see, when you begin to focus on your own spiritual healing and evolution, paths begin to clear for you. Things just start to ease up. You don't feel like you're going against the grain. You feel more in flow. You feel as though there's some sort of embrace around you. And the longer you stay on this path, the more this increases. And I feel this is exactly where you're at right now. It's like you've had a course redirection from a path that maybe was influenced by other people's guidance or just a path that you thought you were supposed to go on because maybe there was some sort of generational conditioning there, to now shifting onto this path and seeing that there's really no other way to go, which leaves you with a lot. This is when you start contemplating and thinking about all the people that you once had in your life and how they're moving and how they think that everything they do is without error. There are very few humans on this planet, if any at all, that move 24/7 without error. And that's okay. We're not expected to be perfect, nor could we ever be. The key here is to not be set in your ways like these people. These are people who are afraid of pushing back against some sort of conditioning. They're individuals that don't want to challenge something that seemingly has always been there. See, the problem here is they haven't given themselves an opportunity to see that something else could be so much better because they're afraid of going through the transformative process to be able to actually see that. And I feel that's what you've gone through. Now, this is just a really complex way of saying that you are a chain breaker, you are a black sheep, you are a kind of chosen one. You were chosen to push back against the system of control that maybe your family lineage has been marching in lockstep with since God knows how long. But that's why you're here. You're the one that was given this grueling task of breaking all of this, breaking the spell. Now, that phrase alone, breaking the spell, can take us to another whole level here. You know, when it comes to generational conditioning, you can trace a lot of these things back several hundred years within your family lineage. Maybe 300 or 400 years ago, somebody in your family had a curse put on them, and that curse caused that person in your family to move a specific way, and it was just carried down the family line until you came along, which makes you the chain breaker. You are breaking the curse. Now, this is a really simple way of putting this. It's far more complex than that, but I'm just trying to give you all something that you can think about and actually understand in some capacity here. But no matter how you slice this, Cap, you're doing something here significant. And this is not the type of thing that you can expect anybody to give you credit for. This is divinely led. This is divinely guided. And when you are on a mission like this, you are always going to face opposition. Very few, if any at all, will support you on this path. Your support comes from the divine, from source, from God, whoever you look to for your supreme being. And that has to be good enough. And when you can move within a space where all you need is for the divine to sign off on the way you're moving, you will begin to accomplish far more than you could have ever possibly imagined. And this takes us all the way back to what I said at the beginning of the reading about your insecurities limiting your success, right? The insecurities that were handed down to you, like they were some torch that you were meant to carry by your family lineage. Now, whenever I look at this Three of Wands, it's like somebody who's just arrived at some new undiscovered land, some new territory. You are actually out here doing work that nobody who came before you could even possibly begin to process. This is an energy where these people would write you off as being out of your mind, right? So Cap, whatever it is you're doing, whatever boundaries you are pushing back against, and whatever resistance you're being faced with, just know that that resistance is your confirmation that you are doing something right. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Three of Pentacles, Capricorn energy at the solar plexus. Now, when this card came out, I heard you are the upgrade. Now, the Three of Pentacles is an energy of skills, a new kind of skill. The divine has tasked you with coming down here into this life cycle and redirecting your family lineage down another path. Three of Wands to Three of Pentacles. And this is all spirit-led. This is you with the divine. It's like the divine saying to you, before you even came here, right? It's like this is you at divine headquarters. They're saying, okay, this is what's going to happen. You're going to go down there and you're going to face all this opposition. Nobody's going to support you. Everybody's going to write you off as being out of your mind, not knowing what you're talking about. But if you follow this plan precisely, in the end, in the very end, people will begin to understand. You're a waymaker. You're a chain breaker. And I just heard very clearly that things couldn't continue the way they were. It's unsustainable. I'm also picking up on quite possibly somebody else in your family. Now, this could be a sibling. It could even be cousins or really anybody that you're connected to in some capacity that is raising children to continue some sort of generational curse. Now, there's not a whole lot you can do about something like this, Cap. All you can really do is continue moving forward, and hopefully your influence will rub off at some point. But it's supposed to be like that. You're supposed to see all these things. You're supposed to have something to compare your evolution to. And this isn't to say that you're better or worse than anyone. It's just to say that you see things differently because the divine gave you the sight to see. And again, we are beginning to see here how the message at the beginning of the reading about your insecurities holding you back can actually come to pass. See, you're having to reparent yourself. You're having to unlearn all of this kind of conditioning. And that's a big part of spiritual evolution. When you go through a spiritual evolution, it doesn't mean that you are all of a sudden attaining something. It means that you are remembering. You're releasing things that you don't need. You're getting back to basics. See, when we're incarnated into these life cycles, we are ready to go, just as we are. But as soon as we hit this third density and the world has its way with us, we slowly lose our way. We become a part of this system. We become another number. And our life becomes a ticking clock, can begin to feel like there's something out there that is just trying to get us out of here as soon as possible. And there is. There certainly is. It's the root of all that conditioning. It's the epicenter of all that generational karma, those curses, just everything that seeks to keep us from evolving spiritually. That is what we are at war with at all times. What do we have at the heart, please? Page of Wands, fire energy at the heart. Now, the Page of Wands speaks about new beginnings. But on this particular Page of Wands, it's like you've discovered something, right? It's like everything we've set up until now is a discovery, right? Then here you are, you're like, well, what is this? I just heard you're finding a new way. A way that all of those who have come before you were too afraid to find themselves. There were others that were guided, other chain breakers, but they failed the mission. Maybe they got so far and life just had its way with them, and that's okay. Those are your ancestors, and their collective knowledge was handed down to you. See, Cap, you're not starting from the very beginning. You have a knowledge base that you're drawing from, and you don't even know where it came from. It's just a deep knowing. You know that there's something out there. There's a better way of doing things, and it all has to do with that calling inside of you. That's your way forward. Just following that voice, following your intuition, and not allowing everyday circumstances and the pressure that we all face inside our reality to hold you back from going after whatever that voice is telling you to go and discover. We all live in a very limited kind of reality. There's so much out there to discover, but it's almost as if we have been confined inside this limited sort of reality that we are forced to interface with. Notice how every time you try to expand beyond that safe zone, it's a problem. This is when you start to see something off about the way people respond to you, right? This is when they start to say things like, I don't know you anymore. You know, you're just not even the same person you once were. That person's gone, right? Because of what? Because you want more? Because you want better? Because you understand that life's too short not to go after your true heart's desires? There's nothing wrong, Cap, with wanting to see where that takes you. You will never regret trying, but you will always regret not trying. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Wow. The star, Aquarius energy right there at the throat. Notice how this Page of Wands, it's like you discover something. You're like, what is this? It's like you're discovering some sort of secret, hidden relic, but it's spiritual, right? And boom, star card. The star card is an energy where you're in the spotlight of your life, right? And people typically associate this with fame and world renown, but that's not really what it's about. Sure, it can be that. It just speaks more about you being in the spotlight of your life. So you following that inner calling, actually arriving somewhere, and boom, now you're in the star card, right? It's to say that you have arrived at your allocated position in this reality where the divine always wanted you to be. Hey, you're going to go down there. You're going to go through the spiritual war, but this is where we really would like you to end up, okay? Because of your free will, when you go down there, we can't control you. We can only guide you and hope that you listen, hope that you follow that inner calling. And based on what I'm reading here, you do. Now, the star card also speaks about your faith, your hope. It's an energy where miracles begin to unfold in your life. You know, we have been made to think that miracles are a rarity, something that is hard to attain, but they're really not. It's something that can become an everyday occurrence when you find that miracles are easily accessed by following your inner compass. And this is one of these secrets to life that I feel you're discovering. I just heard, wow, there's really something to this, right? That it's not just spiritual mumbo jumbo. If you're disciplined and obedient to that inner voice and you follow it without question towards this highest calling, you will arrive somewhere, and it's going to look different for each and every one of you. I'm just speaking generally here, but you will most definitely arrive at something. And that something is typically going to be a door that leads you into a whole new way of being. And this is why these past people just don't know you anymore. It's like they're preparing a funeral for you and you're still very much alive, which again is very revealing because this all has to do with the fact that they can't seem to let go of this false sense of reality that they actually live in. You just refuse to play the game any longer. You just began to refuse the lie. You don't want to live inside an illusion. And now that you've come this far, you can't go back even if you wanted to. You've seen too much. The things these people are saying, the way they're acting, has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the fact that they have already served their purpose in your life. The universe is preparing you for what's next. It's time to let go of those who seek to hold you back. There's something much greater coming towards you, and it looks a whole lot like truth. It's real, and it's all a part of your mission. And these people, they were all part of the game that you've been playing unknowingly, like all the rest of us, ever since the moment of inception. But the biggest difference between you and them now is the fact that you understand this and you're winning. You are getting the job done and refuse to be a part of the problem. Those people have just given themselves over to something else. Really, they've just kind of given up and they've settled into the system that wants everybody to get in lockstep. They never thought that it would be you. They can't even process that. You know, the star card is telling us that you are the star. You are most certainly this chosen one in your family lineage because you decided to do it different. And you've been dedicated enough to see it through, and it's going to work if it hasn't already. What do we have at the third eye, please? Death card, Scorpio energy in reverse at the third eye. Now, the death card in reverse is an energy that is resistant to change, but this is them being resistant to your change, like I've been picking up here, right? A funeral for you when you're still alive. Death card in reverse at the third eye. This is one of these energies where you could literally be standing in front of these people, pointing to a path that is clear, that is enlightened, and these people looking you right in the face and saying, I don't know you anymore. And that's the programming. They can't break it. It's like they can't undo the coding, right? It would cause them to just glitch out and short circuit. These are kinds of NPCs, right? Non-player characters. Term that we hear all the time. I say this quite often in my readings. You know, these are people that have a set trajectory. The idea of stepping outside of that trajectory is just completely foreign to them. They would never, right? Oh, no. You can't force them to see what you see, Cap. And you're not to waste your time trying to do so. It's not even your job. The divine God is in charge of that. And like we already established, a lot of these people already had their opportunity. They threw it away. They didn't want it because they got a taste of how much work it would take to do this, right? And they said, oh, no. That's not for me. I'm just going to stay where I'm at. Simply put, it's like saying, you know what? I would rather stay asleep inside this system of control than go through all the work to wake up and break out of it. And Cap, you have to understand that as heartbreaking as it is to accept that people would actually agree to that, this is true for probably 99.9% of all of the people on this planet. Think about it. If people were moving the way you're moving or being guided to move, depending on where you are on this journey, the world would be a completely different place. I mean, that's why what I do here with all of you is so taboo, right? The everyday person would listen to something like this that we're channeling through here and think it's one of the craziest things they've ever heard. But to all of us who have been here for a little while, understand it. There's a language to this. But all you have to do is think about how much work it took you to get here, right? And then try and imagine those other people going down the same path. It's almost like you can't even imagine it. That's why you just have to keep pushing forward. You can't sacrifice your own journey and spiritual evolution in hopes that somebody else is going to meet you there. It's just not how it was meant to be. And this is a part of the sacrifice that we all have to face in our lives when going through this evolution. Truly knowing that you have to leave certain people behind, certain environments, mindsets, behavioral patterns, ways of moving in your own everyday waking life is the hardest part about all of this. It takes great discipline. It takes great sacrifice. But the payoff can't be matched. There's nothing greater. What do we have at the crown, please, Spirit? Wow. This literally followed what I just said. 5 of Cups at the crown. Look, right? There you are, having to turn a blind eye, right? There they are back there, drowning in 2 feet of water. Please, Cap, help me. Please. And you're like, no, I can't. I'm moving on with my life. I'm not getting pulled back into that anymore. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. I'm not living inside this illusion, inside this lie. I'm ready for what's real. If you can't see what I see, then I'm sorry. I can't force you to, but I certainly won't stand for you opposing me at every turn. I won't deal with you fighting my evolution any longer. And that 5 of Cups represents that feeling of loss. It's an energy of grief. You can feel alone on this path. You know, at first, it's real lonely. As time goes on, that all goes away. In fact, you start to feel more content and happy in that space than when you were surrounded by all these people who were NPCs, right? See, towards the end of your time with these people will be some of the loneliest times you've ever felt, right? Because that's when you're going through that awakening process. And you feel unheard, you feel misunderstood. You know, these people don't want to listen to you. They don't want to hear you. Maybe they're rolling their eyes at you as soon as they turn their back. That feeling of being surrounded by so many people, yet feeling more alone than you've ever been. You're meant to feel that because it's a spiritual disconnect that you have with these people. And once you have gone through the evolution that you are going through, Cap, you understand that you can't settle. It becomes impossible to even have conversations with these people. What do you even talk about, right? You just talk about the everyday bore of living inside the system and all the things that come with it. What this person's doing, the drama that person's going through, and gossip over here and jealousy over there. A little addiction over here, a little lust over here, right? Just becomes kind of repulsive. Your spirit can no longer tolerate it. This 5 of Cups is telling us that you've gotten to a point where you're realizing that there's a better way. What do we have at the foundation, please? Okay, we're going to take that card right there. Okay, but we pulled the 7 of Cups and the Knight of Cups. 7 of Cups, okay, so the 7 of Cups, a leopard can't change their spots, and the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups is that energy of jealousy, and then we have the Hermit right here, Virgo energy, underneath that 8 of Wands, which is further confirming to us that the whole purpose of this campaign here is to knock you off your path. This Hermit card speaks about somebody that's going the wrong way, right? See how this person's aging out? They're looking a bit worse for wear. It's like these people don't want you to have a spiritual evolution. And again, this is further reiterating the difficulties of accepting that when you go through this kind of evolution, people can feel slighted. They don't understand it. They think that you think you're better than them, and it's not about that. It's more about you showing them that there's a better way and them not understanding it. So rather than trying to understand, they just reject it at every turn. And all of a sudden, it turns into, you're not the same person you once were. You know, you may have even had somebody say to you, you're dead to me, right? That's this kind of energy. For what? Because I want to live a better life? Because I want more? Because I want to leave no stone unturned? What do we have at the sacral, please? King of Swords, air energy at the sacral, right underneath that Three of Wands. Now, the King of Swords energy here is speaking about them feeling slighted by the way you're moving. You see something about them that you didn't see before. There's something almost tyrannical about how they react to your moves. Simply put, it's like realizing that there was a system of control in place only after you tried to challenge it. Up until you tried to challenge it, you couldn't see it. You couldn't feel it. It's like all of a sudden you move a little different, and I just heard so clearly, you see their fangs, right? You're like, what? Is this who you've always been? And this can be very confusing as well, because these people can paint themselves as supportive, right? Which you're now starting to see as conditional. They're supportive. They'll seemingly support everything you do. But as soon as you start going a little too far in this direction, oh, now we've got a problem, right? And this is what we label as a narcissist inside our everyday waking life. And narcissists, when it comes to spiritual matters, are now being labeled more and more as kinds of demons of the world. Because what we are starting to realize is that they want to keep you in a space of control. And as soon as you start pushing back against some sort of invisible system that they've had in place, they will come for you with everything they have. For some of you, this can get pretty ugly. You know, a narcissist will do whatever they have to do to keep their secret hidden, the secret of who they really are. And if you threaten that, they will come for you. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Wow, this is really following what I'm saying here. Four of Cups, Cancer energy. Now, this Four of Cups can speak about this new direction you're going in, but it also illustrates an energy of being controlled, right? We see this horse here that's looking down, and then we have this weird-looking bird here who's seemingly, well, it's like they have their hand over the horse as if to control the horse, and then they're cocking their fist back, right? It's like an energy that says, stay in line, march in lockstep. And see how there's a triangle here? It just gives an energy where when you try to step outside the boundary of this triangle, that's when there's a problem. It says right here, fetches anything requested, including money. Now, I feel that that's just speaking metaphorically in regards to what I was picking up on, right? They'll seemingly support you. They'll supply you with things, whatever that may be and whatever your situation may be with these individuals, as a means to keep you in that space where they can control you. It looks like support, but it's actually control. And this is another reason why this can be incredibly challenging to break away from these sorts of situations, especially when you're enmeshed with family and all these sorts of things. You know, for some of you, this can get really messy. But this was never meant to be easy. It's the most difficult thing you'll ever do in your life. And then we have the Death card again, right there on the bottom of this deck. Now, the Death card in this deck aligns with Lucifer. So it's, again, an energy that's resistant to change. It basically reads the same way as this Death card in reverse. It's an energy that's trying to stop your spiritual evolution. The Death card upright is incredibly positive. It speaks about big changes, transformation, rebirth, death to the old. When it's read in this reverse energy, it's everything that is trying to stop you from, again, that transformation. What do we have at the heart, please, Spirit? Wow. Knight of Swords, air energy at the heart. Now, the Knight of Swords from this deck is a really nasty energy. This is an energy that's very critical, and in some cases, it can be very violent as well. So it aligns with what I said about these energies coming for you, right? And see how it's kind of sneaky, right? It's like here you are discovering something, right? Like, oh my God, what is this? There's like a whole new world here. And then this energy is sneaking up behind you. Must stop Cap at all costs. We can't allow this. They weren't meant to get this far. You know, just recently I was talking about The Truman Show in a reading, and this has come through in many readings over the years. But that movie is a really great example, if you've seen it, to what I'm getting here, right? It's like he grew up inside this entire world that is actually inside a dome. He just starts to see the glitching all around him. Everything is on a loop, and he becomes hell-bent on trying to discover what's going on. Finally, he gets in a sailboat and sails all the way to the end of the dome, and he hits a wall that's painted to look like the extended parts of the ocean. He goes outside the dome, and it turns out he's in Hollywood. That's what I'm getting here. See, that's just a metaphor for all of this, right? It's like this energy here is trying to stop you from seeing that there's a whole world beyond this perimeter. And then on this side of the card, we have the Sun. Okay, now the Sun is the most high vibrational card in the tarot. So it's like you go beyond the perimeter of this world, of this reality, and you see the sun, the real sun, not the fake sun, right? There's a lot of success here for you with this Sun and the Star card, but this is what it takes. Like we mentioned, your success is limited by your own insecurities. And now I feel that we can conclude that those insecurities are projections of what these people want for you in your life. They don't belong to you. Those insecurities are foreign. Those insecurities are the perimeter, right? What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? King of Cups, water energy at the throat. Two of Pentacles, Capricorn energy at the third eye. Okay, so the King of Cups here is an energy of emotional balance, wisdom. It's an energy of stoicism. But it also speaks about, and you can see this in the illustration, it's like there you are, right? You're that big angel there. And there's this person here that's outlined in red that is seemingly looking to you for some sort of mercy. And I feel that this is representing some of these individuals here. It's like you're stepping into this star energy, right? And now here they come. Oh, please, please. Please. But it's all an act. It's not real. They're not genuine. This could actually be this energy, this sneaky kind of energy. There's something underneath the surface. It's like as soon as you give into this energy, you see something else. All of a sudden, you're back where you started. So watch out for that. And that aligns with the astrology right now. We're in the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde, so it makes sense, people coming back. But they're coming back under the guise of quite possibly being supportive or being sorry, right? Just use your discernment and be very careful. And then right here, Two of Pentacles says, fortune and fame fulfills any request. So this is you actually adapting now to this way, this new way of life, rather. The Two of Pentacles can speak about time management and just things that you're prioritizing now. Everything is just different for you. You're moving with a certain kind of truth. And when you begin to do that, the universe responds to you in a way that you couldn't have ever possibly imagined. You see that it's very much alive. And I just heard it's breathing with you. I think that could really speak about how you're not marching in lockstep with these energies like they demanded from you, but instead marching in lockstep with your intuition at the third eye. You're breathing with the universe, right? It just speaks about alignment and calibration. I just heard, follow my breath and I will show you the way. Now, I feel that this can speak about unifying your moves, again, with the universe. It's just another complex way of saying you're getting in the flow. All right, what do we have at the crown to close out the reading for Capricorn spirit? Perfect. 9 of Cups, Pisces energy at the crown to close out the reading. Now, the 9 of Cups here is not only one of the most abundant cards in the tarot, but it's also an energy of fulfillment. It's an energy where you're actually getting what you want. Your wishes are being fulfilled, which aligns perfectly with the star, the sun, and just the overall tone of this reading and you following that inner compass. It's also confirming to us that you are now in an energy of emotional balance, which we already established with the King of Cups. If people want to challenge you and the divine's will for your life, they simply cannot be a part of this with you. It's non-negotiable. So with that, Cap, I will leave it here. All right, Cap, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on your notifications. And there's a glitch in the YouTube app right now. So if you're trying to press like on the video and it's not allowing you to like the video, do me a favor and just drop a heart or a comment and that will work just the same, okay? But whatever the case, I would like to extend my gratitude for all of your donations and support on my channel, your personal reading bookings, the purchases that you have all made at my online store, and also thank you to everybody who's joined the membership side of my channel. But in closing, I would like to know how this reading resonated with you, so let me know in the comment section down below, again by dropping a heart and or a comment, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.